Hello and welcome to another episode of Final Drive TV with our exclusive coverage of the Nitto Tires United States Touring Car Championship. We are at Thunderhill Raceway in Willows, California. Now to Rebecca and Jeff to give us details of what has been going on lately.
Thanks, guys. We are at Thunderhill Raceway Park for the Nitto Tire United States Touring Car Championship race.
Yeah, it's nice and hot here already. Nice in the morning session here. They got a first group out on right now. U.S. Touring Cars coming up for their first practice session.
That's right.
And it is going to be hot here, right?
It is going to be hot. You know, this is round 2 of the Nitto Tire race, and Sears Point was mid-March before, so we had a really nice weekend there.
Yeah, it was
cool.
Nice and cool. The mountains were green. These cars were fast. Nitto tires were stuck to the ground.
That's
right.
right.
It was a great 2-hour format. We have another 2-hour format here for round number 2.
We absolutely
but
do.
This is way different. This is way hot. I'm spritzing already here.
Spritzing? Are you spritzing?
Spritzing. I can't say it in the Barbara Streisand accent.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, this is our second 2-hour format, enduro-style race for the season. This is it. I mean, we're going to have these two lined up back-to-back, and then we go back to our normal format, the 40-minute race.
Correct.
But if you recall from last event, we had some pretty cool things going on, team strategy. We had the Go-Go Gear, the number 33 car, the Go-Go Gear car that had no pit stops, finished 4th. Pretty
Ali
smart.
Arsham in the GoGear.com Hyundai Genesis.
That's right.
No pit stops at all, finished 4th place. He was able to set a slower than the leader's pace. Just kind of cruised around there, ended up finishing 4th place. Felipe Cabezas in the TNI Racing Mazda Speed 3 finishes 2nd and has to make 2 pit stops. So it's going to matter, and this track uses a lot more gas. It's a 3.2-mile, 15-turn, way quicker than Infineon. So you're on the throttle a lot more here. So, and we have a practice session today, qualifying today, practice tomorrow, and then race. So it's a quick schedule. No combined qualifying once again because we are under an enduro format. So we have refueling for some cars, maybe not. So we have refueling and the 2-hour-long format. It's going to be very, very interesting here. So
Okay, let's get down to our starting grid. For the second time in as many races, Robert Thorne in the Auto Parts Warehouse K-Pax Volvo C30R takes pole position.
Position number 2 is held by Felipe Cabezas in the TNI Racing Performance In-Frame Tuning Mazda Speed 3.
Position 3 is the Brown Chica team driving the Hawk Works Bridgelux Mitsubishi Lancer Rally Art.
Position number 4 is held by Chris Locke in the Roger Cross Racing Roto Wheels Honda Prelude.
In the third row, we have the Makashima Valtiera team driving the TNI Racing Performance In-Frame Tuning Mazda Speed 3.
Position number 6 is Ali Arsham in the GoGoGear.com UTI Del City Hyundai Genesis Coupe.
Next, we have the RJ Reeves, Nikki Tam driving the Accutech Racing Acura Integra R.
Position number 8 is Kurt Simmons in the Cornwell Tools Stevens Creek Dodge SR T4.
Next, we have the Peterson-Chittim combination driving the RM Peterson Construction Mini Cooper S.
Position 10 is held by Tom Lepper in the Cobalt, California Chevy Cobalt SS.
Next, we have Sean Yu driving the Domport Autobody HPD Honda Civic.
Next is AJ Gracie in the Performance In-Frame Tuning Mazda MX-6.
Next, we have the Ho Chan combination driving the B&K Motoring ERZ Performance Honda Civic.
Position 14 is Larry Banny in the GoGoGear.com UTI Del City BMW M3.
Another GoGoGear.com car follows, which is the Gordon Pun driving the Acura Integra R.
Position 16 is held by Pete Bovenberg in the MBO Motorsports Honda Civic.
And Pete Bovenberg actually should have finished the Y higher. I think he qualified 3rd, but he lost his position due to being underweight.
Now our GT class
is first place is Dave Lang in the DW Pumps M3.
Followed by Billy Mayer in the Bavarian Tuning BMW M3.
And next we have Ken Kurtz in the Yokohama TPIS Pontiac Trans Am.
And then Robert Reiner in the R&D Builders Ford Mustang.
Okay, let's get down to our start. The other cars are getting lined up, and we don't have much time. I think they're going to get the green flag any second.
Our starter, there he goes. Nice, hard, good start.
Great start for the Mitsubishi. Carl Chica in his first U.S. touring car start.
Slotted right up next to that Volvo, but the Volvo took that turn 1.
I don't know if it was the Volvo or was it the Mitsubishi. but great start nice battle between this Hyundai of Arsham and Chris Locke in the Prelude. See it from a
different view here. You can see the Lancer go right up beside him, but the Volvo just takes that and everyone else just slots in behind him.
But
there.
The top 5 cars, nice start. Look at that nice pack between those top 5 cars.
Beautiful, nice clean first turn.
And here's from another angle, from a pit side angle. Look at that Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi should have had that first place position, I think, right there. But also we see all the GT cars, all those quick GT cars with about 200, 300 extra horsepower rocket up to the front there.
Yeah, they
Those
will be
guys
making their way through the pack.
I think they really enjoyed that
shortly.
the initial first laps, trying to work their way up. But so far we see the Volvo of Thorn with
Followed by the Mazda Speed 3 of Cabezas.
and Cabezas and the turn goes sideways. That was close. Trying way too hard, and they always say on these opening laps, you can, especially in a 2-hour race, you can. If he had spun there, race would have been pretty much over for him there.
That's right. So there's a real balance with the drivers. The standing start's always exciting, the adrenaline rush to get up there, to get in those first positions. But we are looking at a 2-hour race.
Exactly. It's nice to be leading the first lap and all that, but you know what? It's not important who leads the first lap. It's important who leads the last lap.
down the line. That's right.
And we see some of the back guys here. Here's Arsham driving a very conservative race. It looks like Arsham drove non-stop. Went for fuel economy at the first race of the season.
That's right.
And this race
and finished at fourth. So it wasn't quite a podium finish,
Exactly.
but a fourth place finish in a 2-hour enduro. Good strategy there without a fuel stop. So we'll see what he does on this different track. We are at Thunderhill rather than Infineon Raceway. It's a faster track. We'll see what his fuel economy goes or does.
Well, they did say in the pre-race interviews that they did say that that's what they were going with. They were also going to play the fuel mileage game again, and looks like they're doing it now. So we'll see how that goes. Because if you recall the last race, we had some cars pitted. One car pitted 0 times. Most cars pitted once, and some cars pitted 2 or 3 times.
Well, 2 for gas and 3, I think,
for
the
other
basis
mechanical
had,
issues
for
and
mechanical.
things. But
sure.
So. It's one of those things. How fast do you go? How far do you push? Things like that. Now we see the first 2 cars of the Mazda Speed of Felipe Cabezas and the Volvo of Thorn up front. But of course we have the white BMW, the GT class of Dave Lang, and the DW Pumps car there going up and taking the overall lead. But I think these guys, the TNI Racing team, as they're watching this, they should be thrilled to see that after the first lap, they're right on the bumper of the Volvo. The Volvo outqualified them, but I think a full second or so.
Absolutely, but Felipe's certainly holding his own, and he's not giving. He's pressuring the Volvo. Really,
Right.
He's giving him room for his money.
So one of the things that we don't know at this point is how who's pushing and who's not.
Well, that's right, and what their strategy is, and so you really don't know. And we just saw here the GT class now. The cars are
right now
overtaking.
we just saw the Rob Reiner in the Mustang and Ken Kurtz in that Pontiac try to go by the leaders there, and there's Billy Maher in that green M3 trying to get by. So these guys are certainly working the way through. Now we have the.
Excellent! The in-car, love the in-car. So we're back at the start here with the in-car. So take a look at
now
this.
we're on board with Pete Bovenberg in his Honda Civic, who comes up and starts passing a bunch of cars in the back, having started in the back because we talked about this for a second.
He was
there.
underweight in qualifying.
He missed weight by a few pounds and therefore lost his qualifying time. And because of the new format this weekend of having only 1 qualifying session, he didn't have a chance to come back and try it again. Therefore, he had to start in the back. But looks like it didn't make much difference because he quickly is working way up.
He absolutely is. You're right about that.
Next, we have this is Chris Locke in the Honda Prelude, and this is one of those
good solid start for him. He started in the fourth position, so he's still holding 4th through turn 1 here. So
yeah, look at the Hyundai.
Well, not quite. Okay.
Oh, he was struggling. The Hyundai's trying to get on the inside. You can just see him clear the Hyundai.
That's right. So he
goes
threw.
by.
That's right.
Look at his hand motion. Jeez, he's just pushing this thing. But it's a very nice run on Chris Locke's part here.
And as we saw when we were looking at the camera shots from outside too, very very tight grouping of cars all the way. There's
the Felipe Cabezas' spin.
That's right.
Oh,
Well, that's
near,
spin.
not
Yeah,
spin.
no, a little tire off is what that
close
was.
call, what I would call it.
Yeah.
And, ooh.
So very very tight first lap for all of these cars.
At this point, I bet Chris Locke is telling the GT car of Dave Lang to get out of his way. He's in the way. And, he's getting a run on the Mitsubishi there. Maybe able to pass the Mitsubishi.
Now he's tucked in.
Great speed through that turn. I think no, look at this is, he's trying to make a pass here, and next thing you know, he loses momentum for 1 second, and boom, one car goes by. This is how tight the competition is in the middle of this pack here. You can't breathe for 1 second.
You really
Somebody's
can't.
gonna
Oh,
be
there's
by
another
you.
one up there on his left there. Who's that sneaking in?
Oh, that's a GT car. Nice. Where'd you see that?
That's right.
Next, we're on board with Felipe Cabezas in the blue TNI Racing Mazda Speed 3. Now, this is going to be interesting. I wonder if we're going to get the Volvo.
Well, the view of him doing that one tire off
over at turn 6. Yeah, I wonder what happened there.
Was he pushing? Was he tucking in, trying to get past the Volvo there? Well, we'll see.
Oh, look at that. Volvo goes wide there. We didn't notice that earlier. Volvo gets a little wide, but he gets it back. I think Felipe thought that this was his chance. He should have been able to get underneath there. But you see, the Volvo's leaving a little room open there, and I think Felipe's must be happy to see that, you know what, I can play with this guy. I can get this. Probably, which is why he's pushing away. Oh, the
Volvo, that's what it was. Oh, so he tried, and then the Volvo comes in. Okay.
Yeah, interesting here.
Okay, deep breath here, and then and settle back into that first lap.
Next now this is the other Mazda Speed 3. This is the Valtiera Makashima team. And these guys haven't been doing as well as the blue car. But this time, hopefully they'll do a little bit better this weekend. Nice shot of those top cars there up front.
Close the gap behind the Genesis here. Close the gap and pass. So.
One more car past. Now I wonder to see what goes on here. We're on board Mitsubishi here. He should get a great launch here. And he does. That looks like he missed the shot. Oh, must be so frustrating. He probably just getting a little too excited.
Could be. He had a real nice line there. Yeah, he had a real nice line on the left-hand side of the Volvo, but with whatever happened, he's now tucked into third position. See with the in-car camera, the rear camera facing on this screen, one of the GT cars is
chasing him down.
Chasing
That was
him
the
down,
BMW of Dave Lang there. Here we are on board
with our leader.
With our leader, the pole position. This is Robert Thorne in the K-Pax Volvo C30. Great start, drama free, and but he does go a little bit wide. Looks like turn 2 here. Now this is, keep in mind, this is actually his first time on this track, and having only driven, 3-4 times, 3-4 sessions or whatever the whole weekend, and he gets pole position. That's pretty darn good.
Yes.
Now, a little further back, looks like Big Bovenberg is working his way up, and close call, good fight there between Locke and Bovenberg. The two Hondas duking it out. And up front, you have the flame-throwing Mazda Speed 3 of Valtiera against the Mitsubishi of Chica. Great fight. These guys are so close there. Anybody one little mistake, and somebody's going to pay the price here.
They're absolutely waiting. Yeah.
This is touring car racing at its best. Look at this. This is so nice. Bowenberg tries to go in, close the door as Locke thinks about going inside. Locke needs to be really thinking long term here. Don't make any sudden moves here that might cost you. Think about the long term. But I bet you none of these guys are
well, no,
long term.
Not on the first lap. You're not thinking 2 hours. You're thinking that first lap. But Locke is another one with a really good chance to finish well in this series. His car is well suited for maybe one stop. Maybe no stop. I don't know what his strategy is, but it's a good car for an enduro.
So the GoTo Racing team, which is Chris Locke's team, they've had a lot of experience running long distance races, 25 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, everything like that. So they feel that at the last race at Sears Point, they felt that that they could have won that race. They felt that their car was super strong, got great gas mileage, super fast. They thought that they could have had it, but because they had a fuel spill, that really cost them, and they fell back, and they could never recover.
And you know,
that.
in enduro racing, it's an entire team effort. It's not just the driver on the track; it's also the crew in the pits, and those gas spills cost you laps, and so that's what happens. But he's very well suited in these long formats with that car and the fuel economy of that car to do very well. So I'm really anxious to see how he finishes.
Now, while we're watching that, I should remind you this is the battle for the GT class between Lang and Ken Kurtz's Pontiac. Looks like these two guys have a great fight together.
Here we are. Now we're starting our pit stops.
This is where everything in the race started to turn around. First guy to pit was Carl Chica. He seemed to have some issues, which turned out to be overheating and radiator
this is not what
things like that. It looks like they're adding water, which is not a good.
You do not want to see this.
And then we had other issues. We had sound issues with R.J. Reeves' car, sound issues with the Mini. He had to pit. They kept working on this car. It looks like Bovenberg's car, you see, jacked up. He had sound issues and some other mechanical problems. He kept back out there, but lost a lot of time. And then we had more overheating issues with the Mazda Speed 3, the red car. This is the car that's had much problems along the way.
Right.
So these guys, you can see the mess of water and everything on the ground.
So, yeah, when you're overheating and it's 8 a.m. in the morning, that's not a really good sign for an enduro. Now, the good news is the enduro was an early race. It was an 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. race, so it was a little cooler. It's still Thunderhill. It is hot.
But it was still rather hot, and it seems like it affected a lot of cars there. But you know what? Who didn't affect was our top two guys, as you can see here, Felipe and the Volvo chasing each other. Volvo seemed to have built a little gap, dicing through some of the traffic.
We haven't seen him stop yet, though. So
no, neither one has stopped yet, but Volvo managed to pull away a little bit over the Mazda Speed 3 of Cabezas here. But it, I think both teams knew that it's going to come down to pit stops. Who's going to be quicker? Who's going to be slower?
And when we get to the pit stops, there's not a minimum gas fuel, so which is why some cars are choosing not to stop. When they do put fuel in, it's what they need. So
there are rules concerning how what the method is. You can't use any exotic, expensive, quick delivery methods to put gas in the car. So that kind of keeps costs down because that can get really expensive. So. It comes down to how you do it, but the key thing is you got to do it, but you can't do it too quickly.
Because
if you spill gas, then you get a huge penalty, and you're basically out of it. As Chris Locke found out at race 1, and they were kicking themselves for not winning that race. So it looks like this is another issue here, where the Volvo worked around some lap traffic quickly. And Cabezas, it took him he got stuck behind that RSX, looked like for a split second longer.
Well, that's true, and that could account for this gap that we're seeing between the leader, Thorne, and Cabezas. Is not necessarily because Cabezas is slowed down because of his car, but rather because of lap traffic.
Right, so all those little things will add up, and if you can build a good gap, you can get gas and get out and come back in the lead and not lose the lead when you do your pit stop. But as it turned out, we had a little issue because Cabezas ran out of gas.
Pushed it a little too far.
He pushed it a little too far, and he's running out of gas, and he's stuck. Fortunately, he was a little stuck almost on the pit road coming in. He got a little push from one of the safety cars
and
lost plenty of time. They brought him in.
The gamble of the enduros. There it is.
And the team refueled it, but they lost a lot of time in the process. So that was a little thing, and the team, I think, was a little frustrated to send them out.
Oh, absolutely. To be holding position 2. Okay, well, now here we are, Thorne. Here's his first time in.
Next, we have the Volvo. He stopped for his fueling. They put in 10 gallons of gas, did it rather quickly, and sent them back out.
Uneventful pit, that's what you'd like to see?
That's what you like to see. They didn't have any penalties, and they sent them out. However, because of the pit stop, he lost the lead, and now he was in second place, and which was fine because the first place hadn't pitted yet, so he was in second place. Volvo was running solid. They looked like he was going to cruise on to a victory here. And our leader, of course, who hadn't pitted yet, was Chris Locke.
Chris Locke. Okay, we talked about him a little bit earlier. Will he be pitting?
In that 22 Honda Prelude that has run so well, he was just working his way up and doing his magic. Now, of course, this Honda is a little less horsepower than the turbocharged Mazdas and Volvos, but also a little lighter, so consequently gets a little bit better fuel economy, and so should do well, provided everything works out according to plan.
Right.
And so that was their strategy, and I think that they decided to pit right here.
So here we are. We're watching Locke. Oh, is this Locke coming in?
It
is Locke coming in. Okay.
This was the move of the race right here, because here he comes. He's in the lead. So the key thing is, can he stay in the lead? He had a little bit of time to play with, but
now Thorne took on 10 gallons of gas.
this is where these guys rolled the dice.
They did fabulous. They took on 5 gallons.
They took on 5 gallons. Figured that 5 gallons they should make it to the finish. Did an awesome quick job. Of course, he missed the ship trying to go on.
But he's out, okay?
But he's out. He missed a couple
and more
seconds
importantly,
there.
he gets out in front of Thorne still.
He gets out about a minute. He's got a minute lead over Thorne. Beautiful pit stop.
They must have been practicing between the last race and this, so his crew really came through for him this time.
And I think they surprised everybody. I bet you the Volvo guys were probably thinking, whoa, what happened here? What are we doing?
That was too quick. So now he's got the lead, but Thorne's catching him. Thorne's actually got a faster lap time going on.
Yes, so now we're watching time scoring, and Thorne's crew just radioed Thorne and told them, go get him. He's Thorne. The Volvo is a second faster a lap right at the moment. So they told him to go pick it up and go get him. There's plenty of time. Now we're on board with Ali Arsham in the GoGoGear.com Hyundai Genesis Coupe, and we see he's cruising around. So at this point, Arsham, with no stop, after all the pit stops have been done, he's in third place.
Not bad for a car without a pit stop. Same strategy as last race at Infineon.
Yeah, so he's out there conserving energy, conserving fuel, trying to make this finish, and so far so good. But other cars are starting to catch up.
They are, because he is driving conservatively. He's not driving 10-10, so that just happens. And his crew is also watching timing and scoring and seeing those gaps close.
Right, because the
laps are ticking down.
We just got the radio. He's being chased by fourth place car, which is Felipe Cabezas, who dropped down to fourth place due to his little incident running out of gas. So Felipe is catching him up in a hurry, and Arsham's crew has been radioing him, telling him to step it up, and so that's another thing. But here we are. This is near the end, and now this is where all the commotion's starting to happen. Now everybody's gathering up, and we don't know what's going to happen now. Looks like Locke has actually slowed down.
Probably a little bit worried about that gas. He took on 5. He did not take on 10 like the Volvo has, and I would imagine he's worried about that fuel level.
Definitely. Now here's Arsham has been. Now this is right near the end. Arsham has picked it up because Cabezas is catching him up, so he needs to step it up. And his crew told him, "Hey, you got like 3 laps left. You got to step it up. It's now or never. Get us this podium. And you can see Locke is slowed down because he's trying to save gas, trying to make it to the finish to keep that overall win.
Right.
And it's...
And then meanwhile in the GT class, we've got some excitement going on there also.
Definitely, because we have, right now, we have Lang leading with that BMW, and Jesus, BMW almost crashed in front of him or something. And with Billy Maher in the other BMW M3, in second place, and Ken Kurtz, who got dinged with a sound penalty, moved down to third place. But here we are back on board with Locke.
Arsham at this point had passed him.
Locke, as you can tell, he's not revving his car much at all. He's letting everybody go. Just go. Where's that checkered flag?
I'm still in the lead. It's okay. The only one he really needs to worry about at this point is Thorne in the Volvo.
Right, and I'm sure his crew are telling him exactly where that Volvo is on the track. At this point, as a driver, the only thing you're thinking is, where's that checkered flag?
Where is that checker? I'll take it. That is right.
So here comes the checkered, and Arsham passes by,
Okay,
Chris Locke gets the checkers. He gets the win. So that strategy worked for them.
It absolutely did.
But Felipe, who was ahead of Arsham at this point, stops for fuel again on the last lap because he was out of fuel again. They were going to do that. But then, right 2 seconds later, Arsham runs out of gas with only one more corner to go. And he's there, but he's
coasting in.
He's
Here he
coasting. And he finally gets the checkered ahead of Felipe Cabezas, who just pitted on the last lap.
Amazing
which made it close.
race.
And guess what?
Right off to the side. That was it. Cross the checker and you're done. Excellent.
That was it. Wow, talk about cutting it close.
Tell me a little bit about the Yokohama TPIS car.
The Yokohama TPIS Weld Racing car is a GT class car. It's built right to the absolute limits of the spec for the GT class. So we're pretty much on the limits of what you can get away with in the class. And so we're trying to bring in more racers. So I've been going around and running with everybody. We had a great race today. Unfortunately, a third place finish due to a sound violation. But Dave Lang was out here, who our overall winner. He and I were battling the whole race. It was nose to tail 90% of the race up to that black flag.
Ali Arsham, driver of the GoGoGear.com Racing UTI Koenig Wheel Del City car. Congratulations on your first podium in the Hyundai Genesis.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. We've been working hard on the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. This Del City car is really getting faster. We're constantly trying to improve it. Thanks to help from many of our sponsors and partners. It's a constant work, you never have, it's never the same car every weekend, you kind of always have to bring back something different, try different things. And, as you know, our crew is comprised of the Universal Technical Institute students and instructors, and they are awesome. They're so good. And they're so enthusiastic. They've been fantastic during the weekend. We've been working on all these things, and everybody's trying to make the car faster. My crew chief, Terry, was on the money with making sure the car is 100% as far as reliability goes, oil this, water that. And then my spotter, Larry, I was telling him, he gained me easily one or maybe two positions just with the right calls of when to go speed it up, when to slow it down, who's chasing me, who's not.
We had a slightly different strategy this time with fuel and putting a little less in the car during the second half of the race to keep it light and speed up our fuel stop. Unfortunately, our competitors had a similar idea and put in even a lot less than we did. We thought we had our fuel calculated right, but I think they beat us to the punch a little bit on that.
Yeah, the strategy was to try and do a very quick pit stop. So rather than put in 10 like most of our competitors, we put in 5 gallons of fuel. That saved us about 30 seconds in the pit stop. And when we came out, we had about a minute in hands on Robert, and then it just became, can we make it to the finish on how much fuel we have in the car? It was definitely a gamble, but it paid off.
Thanks for joining us. Tune in again next time when we'll bring you another exciting episode of Final Drive TV with the latest news from the world of cars. For more information and to view complete episodes, please visit us at finaldrive.net.